Hey guys, so as a PM working in tech, I can't stress enough how important your soft skills are. There's this misconception that you need to be super technical in order to be successful in the PM role, and I truly believe that the PM role is a soft skill led role. So I wanted to go over what I believe are the top 5 soft skills either an aspiring or a current PM should focus on in order to just be better in their role. So before we go into the 5, I'll start with what is soft skills? And I think ChatGPT helped me as far as getting this succinct definition together that I really liked. And they said soft skills are interpersonal and intrapersonal abilities that influence how effectively you interact, communicate, and work with others. So what does that mean? Interpersonal skills are abilities that help you interact and communicate effectively with others, and intrapersonal skills are abilities that help you manage and understand yourself, such as self-regulation, emotional intelligence. And ultimately, there's those are the skills you're kind of enacting as a PM, and I just wanted to start with that base definition there. So the number one skill I think that's important as a PM is confidence. I don't feel like I could have even gotten my role or be as successful as I am in my role without my true inner innate confidence. Confidence in, understanding that, hey, I didn't have the ideal PM background, or I didn't have the training in PM to be able to do it. However, I still had the confidence to know that whatever the experience and skills that I had at the time, I could connect, and there were transferable skills that I could connect to the PM role. And, ultimately, while working in PM, you know, there's so many different aspects, and I work in web development. And when I was new or when I was just starting on the team, there were so many things that I did not know. And for one, I think it took some emotional awareness or some self-awareness to understand all that I didn't know and all that, I had potential to learn, but I still had to show up as a confident person in my meeting to be able to confidently ask questions, regardless of how it would make me look or whatever. I was seeking knowledge. So confidence is a big thing as far as the PM role that I think, will relate as you kind of report up to leadership, communicate with your team. People can understand and get a feel for how confident you are in the space. And ultimately that will impact, one's ability or their willingness to work with you. So if you're gonna work on a project and you don't feel like it's being confidently led, you may not have confidence in the success of the project long term. So, confidence is something I would highly lean into, and there's different ways to kind of improve your confidence. And I think the biggest way to improve your confidence is to get reps in. And whatever it is that you're doing, you need more reps. The more you can learn, the more you can do the thing over and over again, the more confident that you'll feel in yourself to produce. I've had a lot of successful meetings, and I've had some meetings where my delivery of my message wasn't as successful. But ultimately, learning from those times, helped me gain confidence for the next meeting, that I'm going into. The next skill I'll say is communication competence. And what I mean by communication competence is, one's ability to understand who you're talking with and be able to, I don't want to say assimilate, but you have to be able to adapt to the conversation or communication style of the person you're talking to. So as I'm talking to you guys, I'm maybe talking to someone who's currently in PM or someone who's currently aspiring to be a PM, and the language, the verbiage, the way I kind of describe, different topics could be different or communicated differently. In my day-to-day work, I have some engineers who may work on the project with me, designers, researchers, content writers, and they each have a different communication style, but I have to be aware and know that I can't go to my engineers speaking how I would speak to my content writers or designers. I can't go to my researchers speaking how I would speak to my engineers or designers. I have to be aware of how they communicate and adapt, and I think communication competence is going to be key, as well as I also have leadership. So How I talk to my project team is different than how I talk to my leadership team, who may just want to know like high level status of it, of like my given project, versus I'll get more into the details with the different engineers, researchers, designers. We call them stakeholders of my project. And leadership is a stakeholder as well, I will say, but you get what I'm trying to say there. So communication competence is going to be key. So far we have confidence and communication competence. The next one I'll dive into is leadership. And I'll tie this one with really the ability to influence without authority. So the PM role, program manager, product manager, project manager, it has that manager part of it. And, although I'm a manager, these, I would say, stakeholders or folks that work on the projects with me, I don't have direct authority of them, meaning, these people don't report to me. I'm not responsible for like their promotions or, anything like that. As a PM, I'm responsible for the success of the project, and therefore, in a way, I have authority over those who work on the project. But like I said, I can't control how they grow within the company. So, it is through communicating, building relationships, understanding the interests of the different stakeholders on my project, how I'm able to connect and or delegate work that will, bring excitement or, bring challenges that these different stakeholders will be willing to take on. So influencing without authority is going to be key. And I think it ultimately ties into like your influence and how you show up, the confidence that you show up on your projects, the confidence or, the preparation you take for meetings to show that you are leading this project or product to the right goals. That all plays a factor in one's ability to lead and or, influence without authority. Ultimately as a PM, I try to model the behaviors that I want to see from my other team. So whether that's like showing up on time to meetings, whether that's being proactive and like active in communication, whether that's actively listening to the concerns or thoughts of the teammates working on my project, and ensuring that folks are heard. And I think by doing that, that's how I influence without authority. So the next thing I'll say is like big is analytical thinking. As a PM, especially in the web development space, when you're dealing with customers who want a certain thing for the product, it can be a little ambiguous at times, and I think it's one's ability to like sit down, assess the situation, and get clear on like, okay, what are our ultimate objectives here? Yes, we have this long-term vision or long-term project, but based on the information we have today and the duties or tasks or goals or short-term goals that we have, being able to like, clarify all that for us and keep in mind the context of the larger vision, but understand like scope, like I would say scope, current priorities or what's right in front of us, in like build and like approach it as far as like building blocks. We can't attack the whole project all at once, but being able to, like I said, understand context of where we're trying to go and be able to make the day-to-day decisions on how we should move forward in order to achieve that long-term goal is very key. So being able to think about, who else is going to be impacted by these decisions that we make? Are these going to be negative impacts or are they going to be positive impacts? And being able to make the trade-offs necessary in order to make a good, well-rounded decision. And then the last thing I'll say is a big key skill here is taking action. As a PM, at some point, you're going to be planning, but at some point you're going to need to take action. And the only way you learn is by taking action. And we have what's known as like a retrospective, which we, take some time to like look back on all that we might have done and see if there's any opportunities to course correct or improve. And taking action is going to be key because, ultimately, as a PM, you're responsible for the success of the product. Or project. So if you're not taking action, that means really nothing is getting done, and you're not learning anything to improve for the long term of the project. So, so just wanted to kind of quickly highlight those top 5 skills. Like, once again, confidence, communication competence. I'll tie leadership and influencing without authority in one. Analytical thinking, and ultimately taking action. We need to drive things forward as PMs. And these are all skills you can develop that don't require you knowing how to code, that don't require you being super technical. Now, I will say it is good to be aware of those technical aspects of your project, because that can lead to better communication, say with your engineers and or your designers. However, I'm not saying you need to rely heavily on those. So I'll kind of tie it up here. Those are what I think are the top 5 soft skills a PM or someone aspiring to be a PM or currently a PM should focus on. And yeah, there's other soft skills, but those are the top 5 in my opinion. And I hope that helps. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts about how you're applying these in your roles or other soft skills that you may apply in your role as a PM, please drop it down in the comment. And yeah, thank you for your time. This is Savion Wright again, and I hope you guys have a good one. See you in the next one.